Welcome to Hotline 21. I'm your host, Bruce Jackson. And today at the Give House, we have a great guest for you today. He is Harold Rice Jr., and he's going to tell you all about his program. But before we get to that, we've got some people who have been calling about HIV tests. I want to tell you that the HIV tests are free. There's no fee, none whatsoever. All of our tests are free. We also host the other components of the test, such as the STDs as well. So if you're looking for any of these tests done, gonorrhea, syphilis, hepatitis C, all these tests, in addition to the HIV test, they are completely free. And because there is a rise of hypertension and we got hypertension and diabetes in the communities of color, we also offer screenings for hypertension and diabetes. And these tests are free. So I know a lot of people were bandying back and forth. They were calling. It was just, well, how much do I have to pay? Do I have to have an insurance card? None of those things is required by Give House. So we're going to make sure that you get these tests and keep you healthy. Now, back to and let me just put this out there. So there was a little issue about the address too. Here we are. And that's our address, 1309 South Kedzie. We provide these tests 7 days a week. So you can just come out and you will get these free tests. Okay, and now back to my guest. Harold, I want to tell you, thank you for coming out.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
You know, and you're doing some great things. Tell us about the program. You're a non-for-profit.
Yes, we are.
And tell us about the programs that you provide to the community.
Okay, first of all, CETA is a community action agency. And community action was started by President Johnson back in 1962, which was the war on poverty when he signed that bill. So we've been around for about 50 years. And our focus is basically on eliminating poverty and helping people get to a point of self-sufficiency.
Great.
So some of the programs that we have is, everyone knows us mainly by, is our LIHE program, which is the Low Energy Home Assistance Program. And basically all of these programs are income-based. So if your income is at a low level, below the poverty line, you more than likely will qualify. The other program that we have, it's called FACE. We've actually changed the name to FACE, which was the old CSBG program. And FACE stands for Family Support and Community Engagement, which I think is a much better name and more representative. CSBG is Community Service Block Grant, which is basically a fund. That particular program, the FACE program, focuses on individuals or families that are in need of employment or certain things like eyewear, vision, car repair, dental, things of that nature, and then also scholarships for low-income people who are trying to get back to school but don't have necessarily all of the financial means. We have a weatherization program, which our weather program, we have state-of-the-art equipment where we will come into the homes and insulate the homes in the walls and the ceilings, and do some other things such as pressure testing to make sure that there's no leakage in a home where air would escape. And we have a housing services program where we focus on housing counseling for renters and homeowners, as well as transitional living. And within that housing program, which is starting to grow, is our veterans program, where we actually have a veterans building focusing on homeless vets. And then also with that, we are placing our veterans in a employment situation so that they can better themselves. And lastly is our WIC program, which is Women, Infant, and Children. And it's a nutritional education, intervention, and prevention program for pregnant, breastfeeding, and postpartum women, infants, and children under the age of 5.
Well, it sounds like you guys have a whole plethora of programs here. I can barely keep up.
Well, I have information for you.
Okay, good. Well, let me just share this. So how have the community benefited from the program?
Well, in a large way. Our LIHEAP program, which is the largest in the state of Illinois and the largest in the United States, we provide utility assistance for seniors, disabled, and low-income individuals if they meet the income guidelines. So those individuals who cannot afford to pay their electric bill or utility bill, we provide that level of assistance. And typically, about 60% of an individual's income, if they're making some income, is paid through their utility payments. And so that's where we come in to make sure that that's affordable, instead of them going into default and not being able to pay their electric or gas. And then, of course, our really vulnerable population, which are our seniors, and they're on a fixed income, and so we provide that level of payment for them.
Now, with regard to the eyewear, how does the eyewear work? Say, I know seniors, we service a lot of seniors, and many times they have problems with either getting eyeglasses or getting some type of care for their eyes.
Yes. Well, and I should clarify that with our FACE program for the eyewear, for the home, dental program, and for the car repair, is for suburban Cook County.
Okay.
So those individuals that are in suburban Cook County, these particular programs are available for you. The city of Chicago has the same CSBG program, and they should offer something very similar to that. So we don't really compete. We just make sure we give adequate coverage throughout of all of Cook County.
Okay, that's CSB program?
CSBG, yes.
Oh, CSBG.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. And with regard to the veterans, how's that program and how does that work?
Well, it's based upon a referral. We work through a couple of agencies or organizations where we try and locate and identify homeless vets. And we have a home on the south side of Chicago. It's Country Club Hills, I think it is, where we will try and make sure that we house these individuals, and they have about a certain amount of time to stay there so that they get back on their feet. And so it's kind of a neat thing. We have 12 apartments where they all live within this building, and they help each other. We provide assistance from a counseling standpoint and job referral standpoint.
Okay. And how long have they been in this housing you have for the veteran?
Typically, the span is about two months, and we don't kick them out. We try and make sure that they're able to stand on their feet, that they have a way of supporting themselves financially and otherwise. And so they sometimes there are setbacks, and so we work with those particular vets, and we don't ask for any funds from them, or there's no fee for that.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Now, is it a turnaround time for the vets? If they're there, it's like for the first set of 12, they stay for so many months or so, and then a new set of 12 come in?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
We try and rotate it so that we can, we only have the one building, so we want to make sure that there's adequate turnover so that we can reach a larger population. My goal as president and CEO is to have this throughout of all of Cook County.
Great. Well, tell me a little bit about a little bit in detail about the WIC program. You hear so much about WIC. I've never, I always hear about it. A lot of the clients come into the gift house to get tested and what have you, and they talk about different programs that they're in need of. And so, and here I got you, and you got the whole waterfront of the program. So I'm going to try to take advantage of it as much as possible. So tell me about WIC.
Well, WIC, Women, Infant, and Children,
Okay.
one of the critical areas for pregnant women after they've delivered a child is nutritional. And that is the critical time of the year for a parent to be able to provide nutritional value, the right foods and the right type of way to feed. And so we have a lactation program actually in our new office building that I just moved us to over on Lake and Jefferson. I designed a lactation room for visitors and employees and guests. So we provide the lactation services for new moms. We also provide nutritional value for postpartum for mothers that have had children up to the age of 5. So it's a very detailed, very deliberate program focusing on the well-being of both the mom and the child from a
Great.
nutritional value standpoint.
Great. Let me just do this really quick. If you're just joining us, we are talking to Harold Rice Jr. With a great nonprofit organization where he's providing for the community. You're going to really enjoy this conversation. But for those of you who want to get tested, let me just put this up for you to see. We are at the Gift House. We're at 1309 South Kesey Avenue, Chicago, Illinois. I said in the early part of the show that the tests are free. Most organizations have some type of sliding scale, but here at Gift House, the test for HIV, all of the STDs, including hypertension, as well as diabetes testing screening, are completely free. All we need is a warm body. So if you want to get tested, just come over to the address at 1309 South Kesey, or you can drop us a line, 773-522-2420, or you can give us an email, thegifthouse@sbcglobal.net, or check us out on the web, www.thegifthouse.org. And we're back talking to Harold Rice Jr., and I was about to ask you about the weatherization program that you have. Can you give me a brief synopsis of how that works? And
All right. I hope to do it justice because I don't do the work. I mean, I have a very talented group of individuals, and they go through extensive state testing, and it takes about over a year to get the certification. And once you have the certification, then you're qualified to go into the home, and we start off with an assessment. And part of the assessment is based upon the age of the home, the condition of the home. Years ago, we used to replace roofs and windows. We don't do that anymore. So if that needs to be done prior to insulation, then we will have contractors who can do that particular work for you. But basically, we will go and assess a home. We will test where the leakage is in the home so that we can adequately insulate the home, the walls, the ceilings, and then we will look at the heating units. So if there's an adequate furnace or an adequate unit, air conditioning unit, we will provide that input, and in some cases, depending upon the income level for the furnaces, we will replace the furnace free of charge. So we want to make sure that that home is as tight as a button from an energy filtration loss standpoint, as well as making sure that you have energy efficient equipment that is, providing the air conditioning and the heating, so that there is minimal energy loss.
Gotcha. And how often, throughout the year, do you provide this service to the community?
Every day, 12 months a year.
Wow, that's incredible.
So our guys are out there in homes, bringing in contractors to do the necessary work, and then we have finishers, individuals that will come in and assess the work that was done by our contractors. If it doesn't meet our standard nor the homeowner's standards, the contractor will go back in and redo that. And we are focused on seconds, doing it the second time around. Doing it right the first time is the model.
Right. Well, that's how it should be.
Yes,
I mean, that's the standard of excellence.
Exactly.
Right.
And we have a scorecard for our contractors. So it's basically a report card. If you continually get low marks, you don't get to come back and be a contractor for CETA.
So you make sure they get it right the first time.
Exactly.
And it's great for the community because most times in communities of color they don't have programs like this to assist them, and you get people who have many ailments in their home, and this works as pretty much just what the doctor ordered. I mean, you're able to keep your home warm and safe and secure particularly throughout the winter months as well as the summer months.
Exactly, and I will.
I think we have a caller.
Oh,
okay. 1 second. Yes, caller. State your question or comment.
Hi, so I have a question for your guest. I was hoping to ask about the weatherization program, and I just wanted to know if that program has eligibility requirements that have to do with income guidelines, or if it has to do more with the sort of home that you have and the last time it was weatherized and how your house was weatherized originally.
It's a little bit of both. The income guidelines, if you go on our website, ceta.org.net, we post the income guidelines. So you have to be of a certain income level in order to qualify for this particular program. And I will say that typically, if you qualify for the LIHEAP program, it's almost a guarantee you'll qualify for the weatherization program. The age of the home, it's critical too. These are standards set forth by our funder for the state of Illinois. So we can't do all homes. We're limited on the age of the home that we can do and the last time that they were insulated.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, caller. Wow. Now this is tell me about, and because I'm really impressed with this weatherization program because I know a lot of our patients that come into the gift house for testing, many of them have problems, particularly the senior citizens.
Mhm.
You know, we have a high rate of senior citizens who are sexually active,
Mhm.
and it kind of shocks people.
Hope to be like that myself one day.
I mean, you and me both. So, so they come in and in the process of taking the test, they share some of the problems that they're going through in their homes, and this is really just a great well, all of the programs are great, but it's just this weatherization program in particular, from what they have shared with me and our nurses there at the gift house is ideal. But tell me about the block grant.
Okay.
Now, what is that about?
Well, that's through our what we call the FACE. It's a Community Service Block Grant. So I changed the name because if someone came to me, if I went to someone, a potential client, and I said, well, I'll send someone from our CSBG program, a Community Service Block Grant, they would say, well, what does that do? What does that mean? So when we changed the name to FACE, it more accurately describes the services that we provide versus the name of the fund. So Community Service Block Grant is a grant that all community action agencies throughout the United States were given to be a community action agency, and you must have a CSBG certification in order to qualify as a community action agency, and that's what really differentiates us from a regular nonprofit. But the weatherization program, I have to back up a little bit and tell you that it is all of our programs are key programs, but I don't know if you remember back in 1995 where we had the heat wave and 750 people died.
Yeah, I remember that.
The majority of those individuals that died, about 95% of them, were seniors and children.
Right.
And so we would constantly get information about seniors who have died of hypothermia, and I am. The reason why I say I'm the least qualified to talk about our programs because I don't do it. I spend a lot of my time making sure that I'm supporting my folks who are qualified through certification, training, and so forth to do that. I spend the majority of my time dealing with our legislators at the state level and in D.C. To make sure that our funding isn't interrupted.
Right.
President Trump wanted to zero out CSBG funding for weatherization, funding for LIHEAP. We're on the Hill. We are making sure that doesn't happen, and it won't. At the state capitol, the Governor Rauner and a couple of other legislators wanted to sweep our funding for LIHEAP. Well, that didn't happen. Thanks to a number of legislators, both in the House and the Senate, made sure that funding was not interrupted. And I made pleas and I called to all of our representatives and reminded them of 1995. We do not want to repeat that again.
Yeah, I remember that 1995 was this horrific year. For that summer, you were just everywhere. I'm a former policeman in Chicago, and everywhere you would hear on the radio, it was just horrible.
Yes.
I mean, every house you went into, the person was pretty much deceased by the time we got the call, and it was just horrible. So you know, my hat's off to you for having this. Now, are you the lobbyist, or you go down there? You send a lobbyist? How's it?
Right. I work closely with our lobbyists, and I will go down. I'm asked to go down many times to testify before our legislative body, being a direct provider of the services. And so I spend time in D.C. lobbying our legislators to make sure that they have the correct information when they're voting on these bills, as well as down in Springfield.
Yeah, and that's key. That's key. They have boots on the ground.
Yes.
So that the legislator know, because sometimes they don't know. They're in Springfield or they're in Washington. They just don't know.
Yes.
So if you got someone boots on the ground who are interacting with the community, which is great. Now they're getting firsthand information, and
Yes.
they can make a sound decision. And now your tax dollars are really going where they're supposed to go.
Yes, as I've shared with a lot of our legislators, and they have so many bills to look at and to think about. And so I don't want them to have to think about this other than to think about the facts that we're giving them. We service our LIHEAP program. We service over 250,000 homes, and the average person per home is 2. And so when you do the math on that, if they don't have LIHEAP, those homes, those individuals go without heating for the summer and cooling, heating for the winter and cooling for the summer.
Wow, you know what? I tell you, Mr. Rice, I can talk to you until the cows come home. But they're telling me we got to wrap up. And so if someone, if any of these programs, what is the turnaround time to get in any of these programs? Let's start quickly with the eyewear.
The eyewear, it's almost immediate. Once the longest part of the process is identifying and proving that you are income eligible.
Okay.
And then once that happens, it just moves very quickly, so within a week or so.
Okay. And now the next one, the weatherization program.
Weatherization program, again, once we can verify that you have the income level that's required, they will then put us, based upon the schedule and the backlog, we hope to get out there within the first 30 days.
Okay, great. Well, I think that's our time. Thank you again for
Thank you.
joining us.
My
and
pleasure.
I got to have you back.
Oh, this time went quick.
Yes, time is really quick. Okay, thank you.